Good morning. I'm higher vibrations and so are you. I see there's a lot of people already here. There is a lot going on energetically for so many of us right now that it's it can be comical and it can be distressing all at the same time. So, um remembering that we are right now moving into a couple of alignments as well as we're moving into the solstice and then the new moon and just all of this other frequency. There's like, I think we're having a triple conjunction on during the solar, I keep calling it the solar eclipse. It has a profound effect this year. This particular solstice has a more profound effect on us than it normally would, well, in previous years anyway. So yeah, we're moving into this uh solstice as well as a lot of other stuff happening for us. So let's get started on the comments really quick here. Hello everybody, thank you all for joining me today, and thank you so much for the 3K subscribers. I was notified by Facebook. I haven't been on Facebook in years, by YouTube, and I got on and then I found out I'm almost 4,000. So thank you very much, everyone. You're amazing. Spiritual Warrior says, hello all. Can't wait for today's transmission. Welcome. Good to see you, Spiritual Warrior. I'm glad you're able to make it today. How are the notifications working, by the way? I'm just curious. I've changed it to where I started posting that or setting it up that I'm starting my live. I'll set that up only a few hours before instead of the day before like I was previously. So it's curious as how much that's helping. Vegan Vixen, yay. Love to you all from Wales, UK. Good to see you, Vegan Vixen. Vegan Vixen also says, I've had crippling anxiety and panic, especially in the mornings. It makes me feel so ill. Anyone else? A lot of that been happening. I don't know how everyone's experience is different, but we're all having an exaggerated, what's the right word, experience in dream time than we had before. And a lot of that's kind of pulling through sometimes. We're doing a lot of work in astral while we're sleeping, while we're dreaming, right? And so there's a lot of stuff that we're still kind of working through when we're waking up in the mornings. And so I think that has a lot to do with what you're talking about. I've had that sensation. Most of it's been, oh, thanks for letting me know. Kind of like really profound information that I forget is profound in a few minutes because I'm like, oh yeah, I know that I know that. And now that I know that, I know it, you know? And so it kind of blends in and becomes normal and I forget that it's profound. Like today's example was that upon waking, I had been shown throughout this particular experience how each one of these things that we're doing, and we already knew that, but I got to see it. Each one of the things that we had done coming into this lifetime was like set up like dominoes, that the previous thing could not occur until the first thing could. It's more like dominoes than a video game, but the video game reference is also really similar. And it looks kind of like shadows of self that overlay, and as they overlay, the whole individual comes forward in the healing of it, in the completion of self. I don't know if any of that makes sense. I should stop rambling and answer some of your questions. So Esther says, hello, dear family, feeling a sense of deep gloom yesterday. Yeah. So a lot of people were sensing that. I noticed it coming in a little bit. What I'm noticing is people waking up en masse, and the people, okay, I'm not talking about you guys. There are individuals who were very committed to not being awake, is the best way to say it. Some people call them muggles. They're not really non-magical folk. They just don't want to be, and so they are now in their awakening part of their journey, and they're in full-on like no kind of place, that did you guys know that they are doing this to us, and that whole thing you do when you first start to wake up, realizing that there have been many lies that have been told to you, that feeling and all that is really uncomfortable. And what I'm saying this is, why I'm saying this is that most of us are feeling them as they wake up. As they come online, they reach a high enough frequency that we're now connected. You can choose to disconnect, by the way. To do that, we send love. So remember how where we how we feel when we're considering saying I love you to someone that we love very deeply. It doesn't matter what type of love we're talking about at this point. It's just that love, and it comes up right here, and that's when we say I love you, and it comes out of this higher heart space. And so doing that, I love you, we send that love out to the energy that's coming in, kind of like a motion to like it's still going to move, so we're just kind of guiding it to not come here, and then also helping it to move, right? At the same time, filling yourself up with love to help you to move through those moments that you're in. So that's how I handle it. Not always right at the first beginning of it. I'm not perfect, just like all of us. We'll sometimes sit in it for a moment until we realize, oh yeah, there's something I can do about this, and that it has nothing to do with me. These things are all outside of us. That's the most important part of this. Okay, is that a lot of us are having these really strange and usually dense feeling or heavy feeling emotional responses to the world around us right now. And this isn't us. This is not originating from you. It's coming from the ethers. It's coming from out here in the awakening world and up and up. And so as it's moving through, we're being channeled right now by Archangel Michael, and what he's showing me is the banks of the river. This reference has been used before. He likes water stories. Because the awakening is always this water, this wave of this love and this motion. Before it was all in a big dam, and now it's been trickling out, and now it's a profound opening. And a lot of us, we're simply the banks of the river to guide this through, not to decide if it will stay. By the way, some drops go here and some go there, and they're supposed to. That's correct for their particular journey, and so knowing that this isn't you, all this stuff makes it a lot easier. Then I'm able to handle it in an intellectual, that's not the right word, but in a more productive manner and efficient as well. So that's my tip for the day about that. Vegan Vixen, loose bowels today, so tired, eyes and an emotional wreck. So the loose bowel stuff is really, really common right now. People are calling this ascension sickness. Some people are using the word ascension sickness for ascension symptoms. However, this particular bout that we're in right now that's the wording that they're using. A lot of people on this awakening journey, and we're not talking about people who have introduced chemicals specific to this time and age and the stuff that was happening before. I haven't had any of those things. And it's where a lot of us are still having the same symptoms, whether or not. So I just want to be clear about that. There's been questions in the comments before about whether or not people have gotten jabs and stuff, and it doesn't actually have any effect coming from my perspective and the interactions that I have. So IBS-like symptoms is what we're calling it. I called it that in my video. And it's like comes in waves right now. It's like a purging. So we're doing a mass purging, and a lot of us had brought in, and still are, these chemicals that toxins is the word that we use, but it doesn't always mean poison, right? It's just something that's not in harmony with our body, and it's leaving. So it's leaving the way it needs to. I found in the middle of the night, 3:33 in the morning, of course, that I woke up and needed to vomit, which is very weird for me. I'm not for my life, and it wasn't a big thing. Like I wasn't ill. I was able to expel it, and then all of a sudden I was good. Like this was a strange sensation for me. There wasn't any recovery time afterward or anything. It was like something needs to leave. As well as we are consistently having these weird rashes and bumps, and also like types of acne. We're calling it acne because they're pustules that need to burst as the toxins are surfacing. This is a cool tip. I don't know. I should go ding ding or something like that. I love Christina Lopes, and I don't want to steal from her, but that's one of her little signals. I love her. Anyway, is that if we guide, we notice in meditation these toxins that are coming through. If we guide it down to our bowels, like you're doing, Vegan Vixen, whether you know what you're doing or not, you're doing a great job. And it helps us to not have to have the disruption on our skin as much, because we are going to have to expel this in one way or another. The other type of expulsion that we're having is a strange sweat. So kind of like fever, like, you know, when you break a fever, kind of sweats, these weird sweats that don't feel like actually like normal sweat. I don't know how else to describe it. And we just, it feels like it's not of us, because it's not. It's stuff leaving. It's the things that no longer serve us, that are in harmony with our body. As we raise our frequency up, there are things that no longer match our frequency that we're now at, right? So, which is great, because then you can connect to things that you couldn't connect to before, as the empty cup that you become. Mother Nature 61, good afternoon, dear beautiful souls. I'll be so grateful when this knee pain goes away, right? The last several days, I've had extreme exhaustion, napping, and not getting the things done. Yes, all of the above. The knee thing for me, I'm noticing it popping. And I think what's changed for me is that we're starting to do a lot more digging in the ground in meditation. More and more of the druid knowledge is coming forward, and we're finding the need to connect to like that fairy fae world, that energy of the druid, and to dig within the earth. And that's really assisted me in having like the ability to like fix this knee and elbow kind of stuff. And I find that really fascinating. I hadn't actually thought of that before. I was sending the light to it, which assisted, the light that comes down from God. However, digging into the soil, into Gaia, and connecting visually in your mind and meditation to her heart center really helps. Like all of a sudden it's like pop, pop, and then the knees start popping and they're better. So there's something to try. The exhaustion, I just want to comment on that. Yes. And I think that probably if we were all in a group with cameras on, we'd all see everybody's hand up, nodding heads, because yeah, we're all here. We're all in this really tired place right now. And it's really bizarre though. So I want the sleep, though I don't have the desire to go to the place where it's to sleep until it's far too late. My typical time for going to bed these days have been between 3 and 5 in the morning. You know, and I have to get up, and I homeschool. I teach my child at home, so I it's not like I have a snooze button. Anyway, let's see. I'm gonna have to call a cleaning fairy in here soon if I keep napping. Mother Nature 61 says, "Yeah, I know what you mean. I just got my dishes done. I was so happy. I was proud of myself for doing my dishes." Claudia, hello. Much love from Mexico City. Hello, Claudia, sweetie. Good to see you, sweetheart. Oh, I just jumped. So we are, I'm sorry that I lost everybody. Okay, here we go. Jackie, hello. Good to see you. From California. Oh, Canada. Right. Sorry. I'm such an arrogant USAer. I apologize. Hey, PP, good to see you. Sending love. Hello, Edward. Vanya, what emotions have resurfaced recently? I am feeling a bit sad for no apparent reason. Love to all of you. Okay, thank you so much for bringing that up, Vanya. So there's a lot of stuff happening, a lot of stuff occurring right now. So mostly, however, we are finding that a lot of individuals here, I apologize, excuse me for taking that second. We are moving past our old frequency, place where we were before, and allowing ourselves to, as we do that, allowing ourselves to mourn what we're leaving behind helps. And so this sadness that you're talking about very likely has a lot to do with this sensation. And the reason that this is a hurdle or something to overcome or to learn what to do to move through it is that it doesn't logically compute to us. We're happy to be leaving behind a lot of different stuff that we had had in our experience previously. And now we're finally moving past it, but we'd spent all of our life there, our lives there in this frequency. So there's a mourning, a loss that's occurring, a grieving period. And so this sadness, as well as there is, we are in the moment of a lot of individuals that are moving through and out of this frequency. And so there's a lot of goodbyes. It feels a lot like graduating high school. Okay, that's the best example I would say here, is that it's like, it's great, you finally got done, no more high school, hooray. And at the same time, all this new change, we're going to go to dorms, or we're going to move somewhere else, or, and the friends of high school and that kind of thing. So that's where a lot of us are at right now in this experience. So to explain some of that sadness, there's a little bit more to it as well. And part of it is that that in the groups that are awakening right now too, that's coming through to remind you as well. Kay says, pain in shoulders, neck, lower back. We got this. Hello from Texas. Hello, Kay. That's really cool to see everybody represented. Yeah, so mostly in the joint areas and also down the spine. So we have, the main 7 chakras that everybody knows about. Those are called primary chakras for one reason or another. That's what we call them. And then we have the secondary chakras that are also considered minor chakras that all are on all of our joints. We have whole bunches of them on our hands, on our feet, and everything like that. These particular chakras are all coming through. They're all being activated on varying levels depending on where the individual is and their frequency, their ability to hold the light and what frequency they can hold. However, consistently right now, everyone is noticing the ones on their spinal region. There's a chakra on each one, at least one on each one of your vertebra, whatever you say it, and all the joints and stuff. And so a lot of people are feeling this a lot more. One thing that works every single time is connecting with dirt and water as well, but dirt seems to be like a little bit more like you're there. So what I mean by connecting is touching it with your hands or your feet. Your feet is the best idea. It can absorb more of it. You do go through an ionization process. You let all this junk off of you, and it really helps. And the ionization is a whole thing. Long story short, our body contains all of these ions that are positively charged that we do not resonate with. It's not good for us. And even though it's called positive. And when we go out and stand in the dirt, or even during a bath, especially if you use Epsom salt or participating in water activities, we'll notice that these positively charged ions will leave us, and we'll be left with these negatively charged ions. So that positively ones that are like kind of energy, sadness and stuff like that too sometimes. And when we release that stuff, then it helps, as well as allowing you to kind of find that balance. And it really is just all of these chakras as they're coming in. So that's something to consider too. RT home. Hi, Pamela. Thanks for another video. Jeff, hello, Jeff. Thank you for joining us today. Yeah, thank you. And thank you all for joining. If you aren't subscribed, if you haven't clicked the like button, please do. I've actually found out that it really does change things, and it helps more people get the message. And that's why we're here, is to help people. So if you wouldn't mind, that would be really helpful. And lost my spot again. Okay, getting notifications loud and clear. Hooray. Thanks for telling me, Vegan Vixen. Atmashanti says, oh, wow, I finally came on time. Missed you. I'm so glad you're able to come. Welcome. Jackie says, Vanya, I am feeling more down today as well. And yes, as we send love to it, that will really assist it. That's we're being called to do meditation more now than I felt the need to before. And I don't mean like all the time. I mean, like I had gotten to a point where I hadn't, with intention, meditated consistently every single day for a little while. And now I'm being called back to doing that. So, keeping that in mind as well, that would really help to kind of just remember that it's like a daily maintenance, like brushing your teeth or something. Mother Nature, Pamela, I received a notification today, but not last week. Thank you for doing that. I'm so happy that you're able to get it this week. Thank you for telling me. PP, hi, Pamela. Can you say something about the purpose of a Buddha belly? Okay, so yeah, there's a lot about this. I'll gist it up as much as I can. And so, first of all, most of us have like what looks like a portal energetically through our sacral chakra, through the womb area. Like this is counted as womb, even though it's a lower space. I really don't understand why, but that's just, and this portal space is it's beautiful. It's a portal of light, and we bring in light there constantly. And for a while, we weren't really bringing that much in. And then all of a sudden we started to bring in more. Okay. So then that's when a lot of us have been noticing like the sacral chakra area symptoms, your stomach's starting to hurt. And then there's also like your swelling of this area. So, and it's usually like, just like a Santa belly. I don't even know how to describe Buddha belly. Okay, so this is happening a couple of different ways too. We are bringing in more light, and as we bring in more light, we are able to move up to a higher frequency, which is a place that doesn't resonate with some of these team body people energies that have gone along with us for this whole journey. They're like, yeah, I'll help you out, and they no longer are here to help. They no longer can, rather. And so we move through those and we have to release them. And so a lot of us notice sensation. There's like this weird, it feels like you're constipated, but you're obviously not, type things, just different discomforts in this area. And then as we pull away from the density, a density that is this big, once it is moved, relieved, and out of your physical area, then the space that's left behind is almost doubled from what I can visually experience. And so, and then this is like air or water kind of stuff. And then when we send light to that spot, when we, in our meditation, we make with intention sending light to this area, it occupies the space with light so that no other frequency can rejoin this space. If we don't do that, a lot of times we'll find that we'll have more energies that choose to join us, and then it'll double the size and then double the size from that. So that's kind of what we typically have been doing, because at the same time we have this portal and we are on autopilot pulling in the light. And so the guidance there is to just allow yourself to visually represent your heart spark, the soul spark in your heart. I always call it heart spark. It's the soul spark that's in your heart. And it's this brilliant white light that's kind of like teleported here from God, because there isn't a line from God. It's just there, but it's God. And then in meditation like state, watching this expand bigger and bigger with each exhalation, it grows like a balloon, right? And it's such perfect light that everything that is not of the light gets pushed out and out and out. Like, and what I do always is I make sure that this expands out as far as I feel like my energetic reach is. A lot of us are around, they have said that it's about 50 feet in diameter. However, my experience is most people are about 175 feet in diameter. When at least talking with me, I know we expand our energy when we're connecting to each other. So just keeping that in mind. Let's see. And then while I'm doing that, I'm watching each of the chakras, right? So we move through the chakra, and when we get past and through that particular chakra, I'm pushing out all of that stuff too. And what I leave behind is a bubble around each chakra. And that moment of healing, it's a bubble of light that's like completely filled with light. And this will assist that experience a lot. It sounds really simple and silly, I guess, too, but it's really effective. Most things are. Most things that are the most effective are very simple, strangely enough. Edward says, I just saw a shooting white orb shoot by. Cool. Orbs are awesome. Let's talk about coming online to seeing stuff. I am floored by how many new people just barely waking up are being able to see things right now. So we got the orbs, and they come around. They're kind of like flies because they just kind of zoop, 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 zoop. And sometimes they'll like check you out and stuff. They're not bad. They're awesome. We have where we're seeing like these cobweb-like things. They look more like a root system, but I always call them a cobweb. Usually it's one color. However, there's several of them. So there's an orange one, a violet one. There's all these different colors, and they're giddy, happy little energies. Well, usually you'll see this at night. When it's a darker situation, you'll see them easier. And then what's most profound people are seeing like is a being, but you're seeing like this faded white aura around somebody. And that aura is so bright is why you're seeing that first. Sorry. That's why you're seeing that first. And so we're seeing, it looks like there's nobody inside, but you can tell there should be. That's another example. The most common one people are having is upon going to sleep, usually, because that's when it has a lot to do with too that the frequencies are asleep. Everybody else is asleep, so you don't have as many energies shooting by like you are right now. We're able to just be more open as well as we're going to a place of rest. We'll see sets of eyes. These sets of eyes come through almost every night. It's a telephone. It's these energies, these ETs, reaching out to have a connection and conversation with you. I bring this one up in particular because it can be the most alarming of most of them, because many of them are ETs of some sort. And so they do end up having eyes that don't look like ours. And sometimes they can be scary seeming. And notice in your spiritual discernment here, you can tell if they're coming in to with what residence they're taking. Are they coming in with love? Are they coming in without? And from that, you can find it and understand why they're there. You can not talk to them too, by the way. So there's a lot more stuff happening too. We're having this stuff coming out of the eyes, twitching on the eye around the same time this is occurring. I'll notice that the twitching kind of cycles through. And then you start to feel like at first that your eyes are going out of focus, like maybe you're getting into a place in your life where you feel like you need glasses or something, and then going to the ophthalmologist, I think is what eye doctor is called, and saying that your vision is great. And after a time realizing what's happening is we were existing at this frequency, right? And there were a bunch of things up here that were existing at a higher frequency than we were. And then as soon as we start to vibrate at this higher frequency, we always kind of like go like this when we're making our way up. That's just how it works. And so when we're doing this, we're going in and out of focus, right? And so as things come in and out of focus, what's actually occurring is you're seeing things that have always been there perhaps, or had been there for some time, and you just hadn't noticed them, been able to perceive them before. So that's really fun. Just letting you all know that there's a lot more going on like than that too. People are seeing like monument kind of things that they couldn't see before. And it's just, this is the fun part of the ride, I think. PB says, hi, Pamela. Can you say something? Oh, I just said that, didn't I? Okay. Let me catch up. I'll go right here really quick. I went all the way down. I didn't mean to do that. Okay. So Kay says, yes, my food doesn't want to digest. I have to drink lots of water to get it down. Digestive enzymes help. There's a lot of stuff going on with this. Also appetite, having to do with appetite. People are noticing they don't have an appetite at all, or all of a sudden their cravings or their desire for foods are just a whole different variety of things than they had eaten before. More and more of us are noticing that the consistency of water in the natural state of the food seems to be what we're drawn more and more to. Not simply because our body needs more water, but it feels like that reaches the highest frequency. Hey, we have 100 viewers. This is the most I've ever had with me on these lives before. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Trina, hello. Hi, Pamela. Love you. I have sinus pain, dizziness, right knee pain, numb toes, right side pain, extreme tiredness. That sounds pretty consistent with a lot of people's experience right now. So the sinus stuff I find is directly related to the ear area here. So we're talking about the joint in the jaw, the ear canal, and then leading into the sinuses, which then goes up here. There's something cool happening with the third eye area. It's fun because, I get to talk to people on a one-on-one situation. So I get to find out that a lot of people are experiencing similar things to me that I just don't even think about talking about sometimes. And this has to do with this area here, having like a sense of there's something that's merging, like merging the eyebrows was what came forward in that part of the conversation. And so this is all sinus related. This is all this area. And there's a draining sensation. Pardon me a moment. Causing coughing, I guess, too, right? I've been having this coughing thing for a little while, but I think it has to do with smoke more than anything else around here. We have a lot of forest fires in my area. Pardon me. And so allowing yourself to spend time in meditation with the eyes closed is usually what they're asking you to do when we're having this kind of stuff. It also has this click, 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 click kind of thing happening that's occurring right there. It's another form of purging as well as activation. There's also a chakra that goes like right here. I'm trying to get in the middle of my hair out, but like, yeah, right there. Now my hair looks awesome. And like this little spot here all the way up, it's like a line. The natural part is not the right way of the part that goes in the middle there. This spot is like a whole row of chakras, like a line of chakras. I don't know how else to explain it. They're just a bunch of them, and they're separate, but they're a part of a team somehow. Anyway, so we're having this particular chakra line happening at the same time. So it's shooting up, and then there was a time when in my first part of that experience where there was a ravine enough that I could put my fingertips inside and touch my skull. It felt like, and other people could do it too. It resolved overnight, and all of a sudden it was better. So that's something that a lot of people are having sensation with. And then just the extreme exhaustion, I hear you, leading to dizziness too. And the numbing of the toes thing, I'm not actually certain completely about, though I know that has a lot to do with reaching and digging and grounding your energy. Reaching and digging, I mean your energy down. I'm sorry that you're having such an extreme sensation right now. I almost wonder if where you live there is like something that's moving through. There are these bubbles that are happening. So we have underneath in the ground, when we dig into a meditation, we get to interact with the energies down there. There are beings down there. There are beautiful, all kinds of awesome stuff. And there are these light pockets that kind of move like they're a mass, but they're like more like a underground milky river of love. They're so cool. They're really fun. And they're getting larger and larger and larger. And they're kind of connecting too. It's really cool. As we dig down into the soil in our mind's eye and meditation, to reach out and to touch those and to like let yourself connect to those really help. Also, these are moving through parts of the planet, and at different times when it's correct, they become like this bubble. It kind of swells like it kind of like I talked about where we do with our heart center with our soul spark. And then you know that they're going to pop, but it's not going to be bad, but there's still that anticipation energy of like, oh, here it comes, and like, I've noticed too that at the top of it, there's a layer, usually a spotty layer of density that's finally able to come out. And so we'll first feel this, and then we'll feel this, and super dizzy and like lots more buzzing. Our skin is buzzing as well. There's just this floaty sensation, almost like you're on some type of drugs or something. And then it kind of mellows out and becomes like balanced. And then we kind of move on to the next thing again. So that's happening to a lot of places. I wonder if that's your one area, Trina, that has something like that going on. Esther says, extreme tiredness like every other day. Yeah, with you. It doesn't stop. It's like more and more tired. Like the levels of extreme exhaustion are just, there's not words to describe the level. Pamela, you have flying orbs. Cool. Oh, cool. You guys are saying my orbs. I, just like all of you, always have a huge team of light all around me, just like you all. They're our light team, and they're here to assist us. Often when you're hearing your own voice in your head, it's a message inspired by someone else. And not always is it something that you want to accept too. Some of those things are things that we don't acknowledge and we let move through. It's really cool. Thank you for telling me. John says, how do I wake up my nephew? I'm babysitting, but he didn't listen. Okay. So, and let's see, we have another one. Donna, hello, kindred spirits from Victoria. Hello, good to see you, sweetie. Let me hurry and do that. Okay. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so hello, kindred spirits from Victoria, BC. Oddly, I noticed onset of most symptoms on hour or half hour, give or take 5 minutes. Anyone else? That's really interesting. I do know that most of the things that we experience are things that do have consistency with the clock. And I don't think it's because time is important. It's just that it's like an activation. Like right now, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. I have gone every single day seeing 1, 2, 3, 4 on the clock at least twice every day. And it doesn't appear on the clock more than twice a day. So it's just something that a lot of us are having experience with. It's really interesting. I'm not sure why that is exactly, but I do know that when we invest or apply importance to something, it becomes important. As an example, some of these astrological events that occur above us, certain alignments and things, are meant mostly as a point on the clock or on the calendar for all energies in every direction to understand in a cooperative way that that's a moment. It's been denoted by us. We've decided that they're important, and so they've become important. It's just something that's really interesting. So, David, digestive issues here too, bloating despite only 1 to 2 light meals every day. Yeah, waking up sweating at night last few nights. Anyone else experiencing chills, then suddenly feeling hot, sweaty randomly? Yeah, definitely 100%. David, you're having the same experiences as most of us are. When I first started to experience this, I was talking to a group of people, and I was very grateful that there were men present, because my thought was, are we all just having early menopause? Are we going through a menopausal thing right now? Because a lot of the symptoms are in alignment with that. I, by the way, have gone since and found out that that I'm not. In fact, however, it's very much like menopause. And so if we look up the symptoms of menopause, we'll usually get the tick down the list of all of the things that we're experiencing right now. And the sweats that are leaving us are usually a sweat that needs to, like, it's a purging experience. Also, all randomly, hands just on fire, feet just on fire, like really hot, I mean, or the other way, all of a sudden just having really cold hands or cold feet. It's very strange. And it's just an activation thing that's happening for a lot of individuals. I've also noticed too, patches of areas other than my hands and feet that have these same heat and cold sensations. Usually when it's hot, it's when there's a healing occurring on that spot, that we're doing healing specifically to this area. Something that's fun is that light is cool. Like it's a cooler temperature. It's less hot. And so many of us, when we connect to this energy, we find that we are colder. And so, as an example, during the lockdown, beginning of the lockdown stuff, a lot of people were like, needing to take your temperature consistently. And I always keep a very low temperature in contrast to what is considered normal. They would always say, "Are you cold?" Because I'm several degrees below what I should be, quote unquote, and most of us are. As we contain more light, we are more cold. So that's something else too. And then the purging for the hot sweats. Let's see, we got Robin of the Elves. I can't tolerate any type of meat at all of a sudden. Yep. I will go a week and then I'll have some. I get ill. Yes. So there's actually a thing now people are starting to call sorry, I got distracted. Some things people are calling a meat allergy. The meat allergy is this thing where people are just no longer resonating with meat. Not everybody's having it. I think it's fun because the doctors are doing it now. This has been happening to us for a while. It's just that it's happening so frequently and in mass that the medical world has decided they had to give it a label of some sort. So yeah, at first I found that I wasn't able to tolerate specific kinds of red meat, and then red meat altogether, and I slowly moved through. It felt just like I had food poisoning, or just something that wasn't good that I ate, that because as soon as I would, then I would get sick, and that kind of sickness, until it was out of my body. My body's like, I don't want that, let me get it out. So that's something that a lot of us are having. Thank you for mentioning that, Robin of the Elves, and I love your name. Claudia, in the Zoom meetings, you said something about the orbs. Yesterday, I saw many of them in the room. My cat and I saw them flying all around my room. What are they? They're beautiful. They're beautiful beings of light. What's fun is that when we're in an astral situation, another way to do it is when you're in meditation and kind of we remote view outside our body often and not realize it. If we let ourselves kind of like imagine at first what you're seeing before you, then you start to really see things that can be provable later on. When in that state, a lot of times these orbs actually look like a being like you or I. They're very similar to that. Not always. Often they are. They're here to help us. They're some of them are families that have passed. Some of them are angels. Some of them are other types of beings that are just here to assist us. They're these sun beings that are coming down, started coming down during the summer of 2020. That's when I first acknowledged and noticed them. They're beautiful, fun, giddy little beings. They're orb-like, and they're wee swirl, that kind of energy. when they come in, I can feel it in my chin. My belly laugh wants to go in my chin. You know how you just, that before the laugh starts. They're really cool. So there are many different things. I know that wasn't a very precise response, but that's really, I mean, and if they don't feel good inside your heart, please go ahead and you know, tell them to go. You can say it kindly, and you can say it seriously. What I mean by seriously is with sternment in your voice. Sternment. I don't know if that's a word, but I like it. And I'm fine. I've found that some of us have learned over the years, because we're so service oriented and loving, that we kind of become more and more timid and more placating, just kind of giving people what they want, that we say a lot of, so if it's okay, if you don't mind, kind of stuff. And then that energy is wishy-washy. And so they don't have to decide. They don't have to leave. And so that's something to consider too. So use the word I command. You know, you can command with love. I command my kiddo with love all the time, you know, but I don't have to be mean about it either if you don't want to be, you know, so just letting you know. Yeah, Jackie says, yes, me too. Loopy and dizzy. Yes. Yes. Yeah, there's a, I am laying on the couch as we speak. Yeah. Just spinning, the experience of having just, and finding out, like, it feels like you're like, where is gravity almost? Like, where do my feet go kind of feeling? It's just a bizarre sensation. Marcy, 030. Hi, Pamela from California. Hello. Good to meet you, Marcy. Good to see you. That's a comment specific for somebody else, so I'm not going to read it, so you can keep your privacy. Hello, Stephanie. It's good to see you, sister. She says, like button tapped. Howdy. Thank you for liking. I appreciate it. Brandy says, oh my, the orbs. I've been seeing so many, especially yesterday, Saturday, and today. And on top of, thank you for bringing this up. You reminded me of something else. So people sometimes call it air glitter. There's like these little ding, 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 ding in the sun's light outside. Usually is when we see it, but sometimes we can see it inside, and sometimes at night with a good enough moon, until we start to kind of step in the energy more, and then you see it more frequently. They're little crystals. They're little crystals. They are everywhere. They're inside you. They're inside everything. They're inside this microphone. After you identify with something long enough, you kind of imbue with, they're in the ground. And these crystals are very similar to these light orbs in a way. They have a consciousness, and they contain a large amount of memory. And so we can tap into them. They're also like the mushrooms of the forest, is that when something is done, that's why we all understand it. They are carried through what seems like air, the invisibleness in front of us, to everybody. And so all of a sudden we create a vocabulary word, and everyone knows it. So it's one of those cool things. Yeah. So the orbs are coming in for more people, and you'll notice more and more. One thing that's a fun trick, by the way, if you have polarized sunglasses, I found out that the people who don't see, I've given them polarized sunglasses, and they can see the things in the sky that I can, and normally they can't. So that's something that's kind of fun. It's one of those validating things. There's a lot of cool stuff in the day sky as well as in the night sky. You just can't see it in the day sky usually very well without polarized sunglasses, apparently. So, Claudia, heart, throat, and skull expansion. I'm feeling the dense energies dissolving. Yes, me too. Hallelujah. Yesterday, I didn't sleep at all because me and my cat saw the flying orbs flying around my room. Wow. Yeah, they're beautiful. They're really cool things, these orbs. And you can feel what they are. And also, it doesn't take much effort to tell them to go. Most of the time, these orbs, if they don't feel good, they're just lost. They're energies that just kind of, they're being drawn to your light. A lot of us are like a lighthouse in the night, and they're drawn to you. And so, being the light that you are, all you need to do is just, you are a pillar of light already. You're already pulling light consistently down from God, down through you, like body width, not simply just here, but body width down through Gaia. And so you're a funnel of light. All we need to do is to notice it in meditation. Often people start doing that by imagining it, and that just works just as great. And when you're providing the intention of expanding that light and making it brighter and inviting the energy there. And then it goes. It's like, hey, thank you. And then the amount of gratitude that it sends on its way out of thanks and appreciation is so cool. Black obsidian works awesome as well. I find it helps more than the much touted selenite, especially when feeling a lot of toxicity. Yeah, I agree with you. The black obsidian really helps. Um, any of these things, these crystals and stuff, remembering that they're a tool to amplify and to accelerate the skills and the abilities you already have. And this is to say, to remind you how powerful you are. You're very powerful. We all are. We came in here able to do all this stuff. That's why we're here right now. And that's why so much of it's like, that makes sense. I kind of remember that. I'm not sure why or how or when. It's there. It's part of you. And as it's coming out, I'm doing this because it's the throat chakra that is the barrier most people are moving through right now. That's why we're having so many sensations around this area still. And drinking salt water does actually help this. That's perfect. Thank you, Kay, for saying that. And there are a lot of things do. One of the main ways to assist the throat chakra in a very lasting way is to speak your truth. Talk about what's going on. Come to our Zoom meetings if you want. Doing what you're doing now, speaking up here in this chat, this type of stuff, speaking your truth lots of times has to do with writing it down. If you don't have groups of people that you can talk to right away, it helps. When we start to speak it, it starts out as a big jumble of a mess, and all you can see is like little pieces of it. And then when we start to speak it, then it starts to make sense, and then you can see the whole thing that it is, right? And so for us to speak it out is really helping for us in a lot of ways, in activation and throat chakra. And so if you can join one of our Zoom meetings or something, there's a lot of cool things that we can groups that we can gain assistance with. Danita, good to see you. Good afternoon. I don't know what NDA means. So that's okay. I just went all the way to the bottom. I did that again. I apologize. Okay, where was I? We'll pick up here. Jackie says, I have had a couple nights after I go to bed that I'll get a couple or get a tickle and start coughing. I had to actually get up and get a lozenge. Yeah, this throat stuff's weird. The lung stuff too. It's like this area here. It feels like there's something right here, like almost like a physical. There's something physical that's moving out here that I've been sensing too. Like that's really interesting. Thank you for saying that. And also when eating, I noticed that it seems to like stop there for just a second. Like it's deciding if it wants to keep it. I don't even know. Energetically, not physically. I don't know if that makes any sense. Philippa, hello. I have been having issues with laryngitis as well. Okay, we're just talking about throat chakra, so that makes a lot of sense. I don't know what aphonia is. Like I can't talk. Okay. Maybe Ascension Symptoms also affect the throat chakra. Yes, it does. The throat chakra is a big deal, a really big deal. So most of us, this has been our biggest barrier for most of the time because for so many of our incarnations and experiences, there's been consequence, unfavorable consequence to speaking your truth, to being your own authentic self, and bringing forward the information that you felt driven to do. An example is the witch trials, but there's many examples of persecution in that way that we are healing through. And so as we find this barrier in this space, it's we're leaving behind. We've left truly, but we're still in that motion of leaving behind the frequency that hinders this speech. And so there's still a lot of, ooh, I don't know if I should say that kind of stuff. And so as we work that out and we join groups and places where we're allowed to speak it, that will really assist your experience. I've had the same thing that you're talking about. It was really bizarre and I didn't understand it. I'd never had something like that happen before. And then what I started to do, because I couldn't speak at that moment, is I started to write. I started to write down the stuff that I didn't think I should tell anybody because what if they found out, and kind of stuff, and let it move out. So there's really cool use in that. Thank you for bringing that up. And yes, it is for sure an Ascension symptom, as well as dental and thyroid, as well as thymus, all this stuff. Most people that I see, there's an energy on either side. And it's not like a parasitical energy, it's like a blockage. And it just happens to be right here. But there's usually a blockage right down, just like a line. And I'm not sure exactly what that's supposed to represent as, apart from the barrier that it is. So muscle cramps and legs candamances, and yes, the not just in the legs, but we're having it throughout the body. These twitches, they start out as twitches sometimes in the eyebrow, like I noticed it here, for days and days of unrelenting twitching. And then it went to the next one, and I'm like, oh cool, it's gone. Then I started doing it here, and then I started doing it here, and then it started to move down. So then I was having it, and then it just went down and down. In my face, it wasn't as pronounced as when I got to larger muscle groups. Then all of a sudden it was like almost Charlie horse-like, and just these spasms. It's like, oh. There's a lot of shaking out there. Archangel Michael explains that when we're in this period, what we're doing is we're shaking out the things that don't serve us. And so we find that motion, so allowing yourself to dance, to participate in motion, qigong kind of stuff, any kind of motion will assist this energy to move out, and so there won't be as much spasming. So that's something that you're being drawn to do, as well as grounding, particularly in the lower limbs. It often is really useful just to connect barefoot on the ground. If you can't go outside, then bring dirt into the house is another way to do it. So there's just a lot going on. Jackie, Stephanie, hello. Okay. Oh, I should give Stephanie a wrench. Where is she? You're right. I thank you all for everyone who has I don't know if you want this or not, Stephanie, but I'm giving it to you. I really appreciate having moderators. If you guys want to participate in the moderation that I've done on you, I asked a few people, and I don't know if they got the messages before. So thank you all for being here. I'm not done yet. I'm just catching back up where I was. Leona says, so good to catch you live from Australia. Hello, Leona. Such a challenging time with this roller coaster ride at this time. Thank you for all your support and words. Thank you for joining us, sweetie. There is a lot of awesome stuff going on too. The roller coaster is the ride that it is. And at the end, you're in a different world. You're in a completely different journey than you thought you were at the end. It's really cool. Stephanie, she's talking to Aaron. It's a global event though Pamela is located in the Pacific Northwest. I am in the Pacific Northwest. I missed your question, Aaron. I apologize. I don't know. A cord of wood is a measurement of split firewood. Is the Vancouver Island? I'm farther, much farther inland than you. So, but it's good to see you. Thank you for joining. Leona's sleeping a lot and feeling tired when I wake up. We must be doing work when we're asleep. Help out our galactic family. We're doing so much work while we're asleep. The astral experience that's happening while we're in rest is been talked about throughout the ages in many cultures, and I don't really know where it happened that we stopped understanding that dreams were more than what they are. Like, we still do dream interpretation, but the culture that I've kind of been raised in and about and around talks about this place is dream time, and dream time is a world, it's a place, it's an astral experience when you're able to connect with as your higher self. What's new about it is lately a lot of us are noticing that instead of connecting as your higher self when you go into astral, we are ourselves. I am my own self. My identity is Pamela, which is very bizarre. We're holding a high enough frequency that when we go into astral, we're ourselves. It's really bizarre. Carmen, I see his name. People are talking about him. Where is he? Hello, Carmen. Kathy, I have had a lot of a hot spot on my right calf for months now. You must be having some healing there. That's usually the case. For that long of a time, it might not be a bad idea to make sure that there's not an underlying infection occurring. However, usually it has a lot to do with this healing. We're having some healing occurring in large muscle groups as well as in the small areas of our body. So like little areas, where when we expect it to be a larger healing, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's actually, like just this big, little teeny tiny area that needs to be looked at. I don't know how to make it people both, so there we go. Main Carry 1-2. Thank you everybody for your help. Itchy all over the last 3 days. Trina says, yeah. So the itchiness, so we're having this skin stuff happening. Okay, it comes through a lot of different ways. Blotchy, like almost like emphysema. Eczema. This is something new, by the way. Let's talk about that for a second. This vocabulary thing has been weird. It comes and goes. Okay, so I have historically been incredibly articulate, where I have the access to many words in my vocabulary, and then all of a sudden I'll go through these, and it's been consistent with others at the same time. That's why I'm telling you about it, is that all of a sudden I don't. There's no words. I couldn't think of the word belt the other day. Like, it's very simple, and usually it happens for about 3 to 7 days, which is funny. That's that specific amount of days. But then and then after that's over, then it's back to normal again. But right now we're having this whole, and a lot of times it's because we don't resonate with the words they're being used. They're not always the correct words any longer, or they weren't correct to begin with. Sometimes a word is hijacked and used for something else. Like the word power is my favorite example. Power is meant to empower, to give power, to heal, to uplift, so they can uplift self. And then it's been hijacked and turned into overlord, over just enslaved, to overpower. And so the words that we use don't really always work for what we're talking about. Aaron says, my left etheric wing has been hurting for 2 years, working on healing divine feminine wounds. But the other day, somehow the exact same pain went to the right wing. Comments. Yeah, so that actually makes a lot of sense. We are having both wings coming in, both sides. So I found for me that there are actually 3 sets. There's wings, and then the middle ones, and then the bottom ones. And the length of the wing, by the way, which is kind of just fun to know, is about almost exactly your wingspan to each one side. The wing length of one wing is twice the length of your body, the height of your body, rather. And so, and just knowing that, when we get that in, what's the balancing that needs to happen is we're moving down our spine a little bit, and then we notice that it's affecting our balance and the wings above it. We have energetic wings. We do. Like it's something that many of us feel embarrassment to discuss. But we notice it. First, it feels like you've been carrying around a backpack too long, and just that, and then you're also noticing yourself slumping, like you're overcorrecting, because there's something else there that you're noticing, and it gets more and more pronounced. And so what you're talking about is exactly in alignment, Aaron, with what a lot of us are having. To allow yourself to acknowledge what's occurring, like you're already doing, is really all I would really guide for that. Acknowledge it, and to look at it, to let yourself use it. I find that I use my wings to send love. Like I'll go, like I'll put the wings forward to as I'm doing it, and it just sends out bigger. What's fun is others have noticed it while I'm doing it, so they're able to tell me exactly, so they can see them too. It's really cool. They do feel achy when they first come in, when you first notice them, I guess, as well as the pins and needles on the back, like your hand had fallen asleep and it's waking back up kind of sensation, that kind of a thing. So there's a lot of that kind of thing going on. Luminous light, heart palpitations, yes, since 2020, and I've been checked out and I'm fine. Why do I still have them? That's an activation and a healing. Every time that I'm getting healed, that I'm having healing, I get heart palpitations as well as upgrades. I always heart palpitations, and then when we reach a higher frequency, heart palpitations. Sometimes in 2020 was the most intense. I did just like you. I went and got checked, because there's nothing wrong with that. If I can eliminate any need to be in a place of fear, I'm golden, right? And so I went and got checked too, because I could feel my heartbeat in my lower rib. It was so profound back in 2020. It was, I think, late spring or early summer that was happening. We're still getting them, and so that's something that's really common. Let's see, Mariana. So more cold means we hold more light. Yeah, usually, not always. Sometimes there's something else going on, however, that's the case for me. And I've noticed that for a lot of other individuals as well. that we just, and not, I don't, and what I mean by cold too is I'm not freezing, like I'm not layering on. I guess I do tend to wear more clothes than other people in situations where I feel like it's great, it's a good idea, like going outside at night. I tend to, I'm dressing right now to kind of combat mosquitoes, though we have such a big influx of them right now. But yeah, so more of like, you just are noticed to be more cold, and people touch and say, oh, you're cold, and like reading your temperature, wow, I'm very low compared to normal. Like my most typical base temperature is between 93 and 94 Fahrenheit, degrees Fahrenheit. So, and I guess it's supposed to be like 98 or something, 98.7, I think is what, 97.8, something like that was what it's supposed to be. But that's just a thing that we're doing right now. Marianne, astral projection takes tons of practice. It does. And also it, at the same time, it doesn't. It's when we're not in our mind so much that it prevents us from doing it. And sometimes we do it just on instinct automatically. That's why people tend to do it more often when in sleep state. I think is that they're able to access that part of themselves without the hindrance of the objective mind, objecting to what is or isn't occurring. So it does, though, and to allow yourself just to release and be okay. Often it helps to do a ceremony of some type, like a prayer or something before, and bringing in the light beings, those that you bring in to support you, your guides, your higher self, different types of, archangels and stuff like that. It really does help. And any of these things, not simply doing astral projection, but any kind of meditation or ceremony of any kind, bringing in these individuals really does help. Luminous light. My temperature has always been 97.1, never 98.6. Interesting. I was always 97 before, and now I'm getting lower and lower, and like I'm good. Like I'm not cold, you know. Mariana, we were seeing so many orbs and energies, and they all kind of left. A lot of people just had a disconnect happening. It's not really a true disconnect. That's just what we're calling, because it feels like we're disconnected all of a sudden. And so that disconnect makes it so we feel removed. Like there's a moment, the first time it happened to me, my thought was, am I no longer an empath? Like that's what it felt like, because I can feel the energy of this. I can feel the energy of all of you. Like we're in conversation. So you're all energetically sharing with me right now. We're all here together. And then all of a sudden I didn't have that. And it was very alarming at first. I thought that I had done something wrong, that did I leave the train kind of thing. And that's definitely was not the case. It's just that we get reset. And so what that is it's like, so we're an energetic sphere, and we have like all of these lines all around us of cords of everyone that we connect with, everyone around us. And then it's like wiping that slate clean. Now you're just you, and now you can choose again. It just, it's like turning off your device to turn off all the running background programs that are just kind of no longer needed at this time. And so when we have this sensation, know that there's no way to leave this ascension. Like you can't like all of a sudden, oops, I just messed up and now I'm not on this journey anymore. You're here with us. You got this. So, oh, Jenny, it's good to see you. I joke it's my ascension offering to some altar or of teeth somewhere. Oh, I had a lot of teeth stuff happening too. What had occurred for me was my teeth never had any gaps before, and all of a sudden all of my teeth wanted to have gaps. However, there wasn't room behind them, so it actually damaged teeth behind my teeth. So that was unfortunate that it damaged. So Leona, I wondered why I felt cooler than normal. That makes sense. Yeah, I'm really glad that helped you. Genevieve, hello, good to see you. She's sucked into somebody else, so I'm not going to read that. Hello, Craig. Hey, everyone. I hope you're doing well. I seem to be doing better. Has anyone picked up on the big energy charge today? Something's happening. Yeah, so this is like do, like this kind of energy. So I don't remember what day it was. It was less than a week ago, because I don't think that I had done, I had already done last week's live, and I was preparing to meet with somebody. And when I was connecting with the energies to meet with them, all of a sudden, I think it was Monday, all of a sudden, like we went up like 7 octaves or something. It's like, whoa, like it was all the way up. And then everything's different now. Like there's more color. It's easier to not be connected to, hey, it's 111 people that are present today. That's cool. On the 11th, I love all the ones. And it's 1 o'clock on my clock. And so I don't remember exactly what part I was describing, though. Just all of a sudden connecting to more people in a higher energetic way, being able to perceive. It's like able to hear colors, and there's just so many things that just all start happening at the same time. What's funny is that these energies we're connecting with that we couldn't connect with before, are energies that are not so much into the whole speaking with voice. And so then I tried to have a meeting with somebody, and I was bringing forward their channeling, and it was like talking with Cheech and Chong. Like, oh, there was no language. And like the diagram, I tend to sketch, and I'll be it's channeled sketching, so it's like a message meant for someone else. The sketch was a single arrow. That was the channeled message. It's that, because it's all about parcels. They're parcels of information, and it's about laughter. Being in that gratitude place, being in the place of joy, brings forward. It's like choosing to be happy is choosing to be in this frequency. And when you choose to be in the frequency, then the frequency presents itself. If that makes any sense. I got really excited for a minute there. I hope that I made sense, because there was so much more that I wanted to talk about. And Jackie just saw 111 messages in the chat too. 111s are everywhere. Philippa says, oh, she's talking to somebody else. Yeah, the sun bubbles. Jenny says, Pamela, that's when I broke my tooth. That day we went all up those octaves. Really? Oh, yes, I do remember that now. That's right. That's cool. Well, I don't typically follow the clock so closely, but I just saw, yes, it's past the time that I usually share this for. I do want to remind everybody that we are going to be doing this again every single every Sunday. I plan to do this just like this. Thank you for the 120 viewers at the moment. This has been fun to have so many lovely, beautiful frequencies coming through. If I didn't get a chance to answer your question, I apologize. Please send me a message. We're in Telegram. The Telegram link is in the description below. And if you want to schedule a one-on-one session with me, I offer those for $33 an hour. Most of the sessions are 2 hours, so it ends up being $66. However, if you want to just join and chat, and just for an hour, just let me know. And there's a link for that in my Calendly scheduling site thing. That's in the description below as well. Thank you all for joining, and thank you all for doing this work. I know that it feels kind of hard right now. There's a lot of stuff happening, and as it happens, it becomes more and more easy to connect and know that you're in the right place and space. Also, as another reminder, we do meet every Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time for a group Zoom meeting. And all of us, you don't have to have your camera on or your audio on, and it's free. It's really a cool way to connect with others who are on this journey and to let that throat chakra kind of start to work. Thank you all. I love you, and I will talk to you very soon. Have a great journey. Aho blessings.